Hello guys, today I will be reading a story for you all. Our story is called The Laughing Canoe. There once was a fisherman. Each and every morning, with his fishing pole and two baskets, the fisherman made his way to the wide, winding river, where his hand-carved wooden canoe waited on the riverbank. The fisherman pushed off from shore, paddled to the middle of the river, then baited his hook and cast his line. After that, he waited. The moment he felt a tug, he rode his line in, then proudly unhooked a wriggling bass or catfish and tossed it into one of his baskets. This he would do again and again until both baskets were brimming with flipping, flopping fish. Then he would paddle the canoe back to shore and take his catch to market, where he would sell bass and catfish for 2 coppers apiece. But one day, the fisherman didn't catch any fish, not one. For hours, he drifted in his canoe, waiting for a tug, but no tug came. So after returning to the shore, empty-handed, fisherman went home, where his 2 sons greeted him with big smiles. "Welcome back, Daddy. How was today's catch? Did you hook a lot of fish and sell a lot at the market?" The fisherman sighed. "I'm afraid not, my loves. The catfish and bass must have been sleeping. They simply refused to bite. But no use getting down, right? I'll try again tomorrow. Surely the fish will be awake by then." So the next morning, the fisherman grabbed his fishing pole and baskets and went to work. He paddled his canoe to the middle of the river, baited his hook, cast his line, and waited and waited and waited. But the fish didn't bite. For the second day in a row, the fisherman went home empty-handed. Much to the fisherman's chagrin, the same thing happened the next day, and the next, and the next. By the 7th day, the fisherman was beside himself, and as he sat in his canoe, drifting on the water and waiting for that elusive tug, he finally broke down and cried, "What am I going to do? If I can't catch any fish, I can't sell any fish. And if I can't sell any fish, I can't feed my children. And if I can't feed my children, the poor dears will go hungry." The poor man wept and wept until, "Psst, hey, what do you call a canoe that's 50% off?" The fisherman froze. "What? Who said that?" "I did. I said, what do you call a canoe that's 50% off?" "A sailboat. Get it? Like sail, a discount, only it's a sailboat." The fisherman looked to his left, then to his right, then looked down. And when he did, he saw the front of his canoe, the bow, had sprouted a face, a cheery-looking face with 2 twinkling eyes and a wide grinning mouth. The astonished fisherman jumped so high he nearly tipped the canoe over. "Easy there, Bunny. I've heard of rocking the boat, but it's supposed to be a figure of speech. Also, come to think of it, if your canoe tips over in the water, you can always wear it on your head because it's capsize. Get it? Capsize. Oh, I'm on fire today." As the canoe exploded into a peal of laughter, the fisherman rubbed his eyes. What is going on here? I was out on the water so long. Did I fall asleep while I was waiting for a bite? I must be dreaming. I must be. Well, in the words of the greatest song in the history of music, ba-dum-bum-bum, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. But no, friend, I'm totally for real. No doubt about it. Although he'd been crying just a moment ago, the fisherman couldn't help but smile. Hey, now that's better. I haven't seen your frown turn upside down all day. Well, that's because I haven't caught any fish, and if I can't catch any fish, I can't sell any fish, and if you can't sell any fish, you can't feed your children. Yeah, I heard the whole thing, but I am pleased to report that your shrimp has come in, my friend, or canoe, if you want to be technical about it. Either way, I am here to save the day. No longer will you be up the creek without a paddle. Just sit back and check this out. As the fisherman watched in wonder, the water around the canoe began to quiver, then ripple, then gurgle, then bubble and churn. And just like that, a massive silver catfish shot up from the river, arched its sleek, silvery gray body in midair, then landed in one of the fisherman's baskets. The same thing happened with a catfish, then a bass, then another catfish, and in no time, both baskets were teeming with wriggling fish. Once the baskets were full, the stream of flying fish stopped, and the water went quiet. This is amazing! Simply amazing! There is no way my children will go hungry now. The fisherman gave the canoe a friendly pat. Tell me, friend, how can I repay you? I'm so very grateful, but I don't have much to offer. Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Quick as a wink, the canoe whipped its head around until it faced the back of the boat, the stern. Then it opened its wide mouth and sucked all of the fish from one of the baskets like a vacuum cleaner. There, we're even. One basket for you and one basket for me. You scratch my bow, I scratch yours. And when you come back tomorrow, we'll do it all over again. What do you say? I say this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. After that, every single day, the fisherman would paddle the canoe to the middle of the river. The water would bubble and churn. The fish would fly through the air. The basket would fill to the brim, and the canoe would snarf down one of the baskets with a great big gulp. No longer did the fisherman worry about putting food on his family's table. The fish he brought to the market were so large and plump he could sell them for 4 coppers apiece instead of just 2. And it wasn't long before those coppers added up and the fisherman was prospering. Now it just so happened that the fisherman had a brother, a farmer who lived several villages over, and the 2 siblings were as different as June and January. Whereas the fisherman was humble and caring, the farmer was greedy and jealous. So when the farmer heard about the fisherman's good fortune, he grew green with envy. How is my brother doing so well? I must uncover his secrets. Early one morning, the farmer snuck out to the river and hid behind a bush. he watched the fisherman glide into his canoe into the water, then paddled to the middle of the river. It was a wide river, so the fisherman was pretty far away. The farmer couldn't see much, but what he did see made his eyes bulge. Oh my goodness! Look at all those big, beautiful fish jumping out of the water and into my brother's boat. It's like magic. Again, the canoe was quite distant, so the farmer didn't see what happened next. He didn't see the canoe spin its prow around, and he didn't see it open its gasping mouth, and he didn't see all the fish in one of the baskets suddenly disappear. But what he did see set his greedy mind awhirl. That night, under a dark moon in the sky, the farmer crept back to the river with two gigantic baskets strapped to his back. They were far bigger than any baskets the humble fisherman ever used. The farmer brought his brother's canoe to the water's edge and placed his jumbo baskets inside. They were so huge they barely fit, but as the farmer was about to step inside and push off, "Hey, which paddle do you use when you sit in front of a canoe?" The farmer tensed. "What? What did you say?" "I said, which paddle do you use when you sit in front of a canoe?" "Either or, get it? Like an oar, like a paddle, only it's either or. Oh, I get me." The farmer's eyes traveled down to the canoe. At first, when he spotted the cheery face with its twinkling eyes and smiling mouth, he was startled. But then he smiled. "Ah, and now I understand you're a magical canoe. My brother has a magical canoe. So that's how he's been catching all those big, beautiful fish." The farmer leaped into the canoe and began to paddle. When they reached the middle of the river, he looked at the canoe expectantly. "Okay, here we are. Now give me those fish." "Boy, oh boy, aren't you a pain in the string? But hey, whatever floats your boat." To the farmer's delight, the water began to quiver, ripple, gurgle, and churn. Then, fish after fish began hurtling through the air and landing into the farmer's enormous baskets. The baskets were so big and could hold so much before the long canoe was weighed down with the fish. And sides were barely above the water. "Oh, fella, we're gonna need a bigger boat." "Nonsense! I want these baskets filled to the brim." Eventually, they were. At this point, the fish stopped jumping and the water went still. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Look at all these fish. And they're mine. Oh, mine! Now let's get back to shore so I can sell them. "Not so fast, Bella. Aren't you forgetting something?" Now remember, the farmer didn't know that his brother always shared his fish with the canoe, and the farmer had been too far away to see. "I'm not forgetting anything, you hopeless heap of whittled wood. I'm going back to the shore and selling these fish, and I'm making amends." But just as the farmer lifted his paddle, "Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that." The canoe whipped its head around, its twinkling eyes flashing with fury. Before the farmer knew what was happening, the canoe opened its gaping mouth wide and swallowed both baskets of fish. Then the canoe stretched its jaws even wider and tried swallowing the farmer. "Ah!" The terrified fellow sprang from his seat and dove into the water, swimming away as fast as his legs and arms could carry him. When he reached shore, he took off running through the forest. All we know, he's still running. As for his brother, the humble fisherman, he and his canoe continued their daily fishing trips, sharing ample amounts of catfish, bass, and bad boat puns. You know, I'm kind of tempted to make one right now, but I can't think of any. Canoe? Get it? It's like canoe, but it's canoe? Alright, I think I'll stick to storytelling. The end.